All right, welcome back to another video. For those that are new here, my name's James and I have motor neuron disease. On this week's video, I want to take you along with me to an appointment to go and see my neurologist. I haven't seen my neurologist since around June or July last year, and at the moment, the way that I see him is a sort of as and when I feel the need to, or more like as and when he feels the need to see me. And it'll be really interesting to go to this appointment because I feel since I've seen him last, I have progressed in my arms and hands more specifically, and the symptoms that you don't physically see, like tiredness and fatigue, I'm definitely feeling more tired doing just like simple things from day to day. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, if he picks up anything, if he can give me any sort of advice or anything like that. Hopefully he'll let me film the appointment. Let's get to it. Cut to me at my appointment, filming whatever I'm allowed to film.
Process not terribly helpful. You need to go back a bit up the river to try and block what's happening.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to sit you on there if that's okay. James, can I give you a hand with this off? Is that okay?
Yeah, so you might. I'm having to stand up now. I'll take it off.
There we go. I'll put it over. You sit down, and I'll just put this over your head a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to take the better arm first, and then slip that off here. Not so good arm. Okay, that's terrific. It always looks so healthy. Striking things obviously are that he's, quite young, but bulbar function is normal, isn't it? So his speech is perfect.
40 now.
Yeah, well, that's young, I tell
Is
you.
it?
Yeah.
Think of it.
Yeah, no, I know, that's the problem, isn't it? You don't feel it. The problem began with the left arm, and it's always, you've heard, it's also affected right, which is quite tricky, sort of. But there are other things you have, it hasn't got any sort of bulbar problems. So about a third of people will present with sort of slightly slurred speech or something like that. But probably the commonest presentation would be sort of one limb sort of becoming a bit progressively weak, usually painless, unless of course it's so heavy that you get a bit of frozen shoulder.
Would you say it was limb onset?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah. So it's starting your arm, basically. It's nothing, But it's just that these things equate a little bit with sort of 5 years survival. Sort of, if you look at sort of every single person who's diagnosed with the umbrella term MND and then follow them, there are people who do really quite well in terms of longevity, and then people who do quite badly. And you can predict that a little bit. So probably monomelic sort of lower limb is sort of best, and then followed by arm, and then obviously, people who have a bulbar problem, that's not so great. And then sort of catastrophe is those people who predominantly got respiratory muscle weakness as a presentation, end up Friday afternoon, CO2 narcosis on the ITU, and then a diagnosis is made at that point. So that's quite tricky for everyone. I mean, primarily the person who's got it, but because there's lots of things that have to be considered very quickly. You don't have any sort of luxury of time to sort of get used to what's coming down the tracks. So, okay. Right, so I'm just going to do a couple of silly things. Okay, do you see my stick here? Look over here. Okay, to the left, to the right, all the way up. His eye movements are beautiful, and if they weren't, you'd be suspicious there'd be something else going on. So, in people who've got a bit of limited up gaze, you'd be slightly worried, or people who've got sort of saying, I've got double vision of funny old droopy eyelids, you'd be thinking, well, I've seen you with you, obviously. So, eye movements are affected in motor neuron disease, but right down the tracks at the very sort of end where actually, if you think of Stephen Hawkins, we had sort of 3 useful eye movements left, but could still communicate with the planet. So, but that is very unusual. That people sort of get to a point where actually they've lost so much function that actually they're relying on eye movements to sort of live life. So that's what eventually happens. So in terms of eye movements, should be normal, and they are normal, of course. So I was going to get you just to screw your eyes up tight and shut. Open your eyes. Show me teeth. Show me tongue. Okay. Can you move the tongue like this? And that. It's moving normally. There's no circulation or wasting. You can do a jaw jerk for entertainment value. But you okay there?
Yeah.
Just go floppy. It won't hurt you. Not brisk, okay, which you would expect it. And then just looking at palmamentals, I try to be careful, but if you look at his chin, you okay there? Hasn't got any palmamentals. So it all suggests that the motor cells in James are being lost predominantly from spinal cord rather than cortical motor cells, which we'll probably see it a little bit later on in the way it affects people. I don't need to get my neurotips out, it's just really sort of threatening behaviour for no good reason. So just having a look now, just one last thing, can I get you to push my hand forward hard as you can? I can slightly overcome it, okay? I shouldn't be able to. Push back hard. Okay. Do you want to just briefly see if you can overcome?
Do you mind?
No, you carry on, yeah.
So he's a young, fit 4-year-old. There's no way you should be able to overcome. So just push, go on, take her out. Yeah. Yeah, so that is genuine, real sign, and it's quite helpful.
Yeah.
It is actually helpful. Right, I'm just going to have a stare at you. Okay, right, fine, figure of a man. So not, huge numbers of 6. Best seen over shoulder go down because there's so much muscle. So often when I'm not sure, I put people by the window here. I need to do that today. There you go. Right. Exactly. That was very practical. Right. I don't know how that happens. Right. But the natural light on the shoulders. I've seen see a few twitches, and then here, just in the hand, you can see he's got a little bit of kind of sticky outy eye. He's a bit inny-winny. So there you go. A little bit
starting to go down.
So let's just have a look at that. I'm just having a quick look at this side here.
So I've noticed, obviously, as the twitching used to be quite apparent in my arms.
Yeah.
And obviously, as the weakness has progressed,
It's less, yeah.
it's less. What's that reason?
There's less muscle pop, so there's less muscle to twitch.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, we've got no muscle to twitch. You don't see any twitching. I mean, that's not. I mean, that's
That's
a sort of very, it is
right,
a bit,
okay.
simplistic, but that is probably the explanation. Okay, you okay there?
Yeah.
This is all low tone here. Okay, and then just not to rub it in, but if I can, so you can see it's flattened off here. Then this looks again. Can you bring the arm up for me? Okay, so that's quite tricky. And then pull it towards you. Okay, so it's globally weak. It's not just one muscle group. But it's not parameter weakness either. It's global weakness. Pull me towards you. Okay, this is annoying. Push away now. Okay, and then just as I turn the hand, can you show me how dexterous you are? Can you do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there are ways of describing the hand, but it is functionally not very useful, is it? So that's the problem. So you said globally weak, doesn't matter what terminology you use, but freaking frustrating would be one term, I think, sort of to a bit underestimate the situation. And then these reflexes are flat. That's okay. You might get taught in medical school that you should see the combination, but if the majority of the motor cells are lost from the spinal cord, you get this sort of, wasting, weak, slightly flat reflex picture.
Yeah.
If they're cortical cells that are lost, then you end up with stiff, spastic, brisk jerks. Okay, and obviously some people have a bit of a combination of both, which gives you that classic picture we're taught in medical school. Once you see that, it really can't be anything else. And what's the point of doing tests? My colleagues still do tests and keep people hanging on the wire for 18 months. Like, so it's just, while people are losing a bit of function, well, they can get out and go barley if only they knew.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but I don't know how you get the message across. Everyone's paranoid about getting it wrong, but actually you just need to get in there and make an early diagnosis so people can get on and crack on with life.
Yeah.
Okay, just bring this arm up for me. Okay, sorry. Pull me towards you. Okay, push away now. Good. It's quite weak. You're doing well to dress yourself, I have to say. I don't know how you're doing it. Just cock the wrist up for me. Okay, and again, you're seeing this sort of global weakness, but no flexion, contraction or anything like that, so it's not contracted. Spread the fingers wide. Frustrating. Okay, right. I'm going to help you get dressed, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the label, so that must be the back.
Yeah.
Jack. Okay, right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'm just going to come and if I just get my hand in the sleeve. 1 second, I'll come and give you a hand. Hang on, I'm down now.
Look at that.
I'm coming.
You can't.
Just want to make sure I don't injure your shoulder. Right, that's over there. That's that one.
Thank you.
I'm just going to come and do the same on this side. So here we go. Right, over for my arm again. Now the rabbit hole. Right, you okay?
Yeah.
Just want to be careful, don't injure your shoulder.
Yeah, that's all right. Look at that.
Then last time we examined legs, I don't need to strip them off because it's actually quite tiring to do so, but there were a couple of 6-0 to write home about, but legs, obviously you can see are pretty good. Can I just bring you around a little bit? Just give you a roll. 1, 2, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
right.
shoes off. Or...
Was that? No, I'll take them off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can do that. It's all part of service, yeah. No extra required today, sometimes. Women want me to get on the bed with them, that is extra, but that's all, GMCable, I think. So be careful what you do these days, isn't you? Right, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So again, I could show you the muscles, but actually you can feel them through this clothes and sort of, and I know, obviously, cheating because I'm not cheating, but just bring this leg up for me. Keep it up, but don't let me push down. I want your top strength. Don't trunk and all that. Keep it up. What a man. Okay, good. So hip flexion's normal, 5-5 MRC, whatever you want to call it. Push down now, hard as you can. Okay. And now this side here, just keep it up for me. Keep it right up. Okay. And then push down hard, and then pull this foot up to. Try and get you in the camera. Pull this foot up towards you. Keep it up that way. Okay. Push down now. Screw. And now this side. Okay, no, it's as strong as an ox. Right. I've been to Bali. Well, these reflexes are present, and then if I did examination of the sensory exam, it will be normal. I don't really have to sort of wind him up by sticking pins in him, tickling his feet, but yeah. So, I mean,
I'll tell you one thing I did notice a couple of days ago. I had a massage.
Yes.
And she was massaging my legs, and it almost felt like a numbness down the side on this side.
Okay, I'll explain that.
On the skin rather than like when you've had like a dentist,
Yeah.
right? Where you've had a
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what that is. So I haven't got my cartoons with me, but this area of skin here, okay, that bit between the knee and the hip, not on the inside, but on the outside, okay, and is supplied by a little nerve that comes just around the pelvic rim here, so that bony bit there, okay. And when people lose weight or gain weight, the nerve sits in a little fat pad. Right. When it's irritated, you can even end up with sort of numbness or a bit of tingling. Okay. Cyclists tend to get it. I get it. But it is called lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh irritation or entrapment. So it is neurological. It's not MND.
It's not MND.
You might say, hang on, he said I won't get no sensory symptoms. So this is actually a lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Neuralgia parasitica, is that what we used to?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, why do we call things like that? So it's just a bit of irritation.
Okay.
And the nerve only supplies that bit of sensation of the skin. It doesn't supply muscle.
Yeah, she was massaging. I was like, I can't actually feel that.
No. So I've got it on this side.
Right.
You stick a needle in there. I can't feel it at all.
No.
I never went through a period where I had pins and needles and everything. And I do cycle a little bit in and out of work sometimes, so it's not freezing cold. So and that's what it is. It's completely benign, but what you've noticed is real.
Right.
And it's classically that bit there.
Okay.
It's like a sort of, it won't ever be there or down here.
Okay.
If you end up next week with like sort of severe back pain, shooting pain down your leg ain't that. It's just that you've done a disc in your back. So it is frustrating, but sort of, it depends on how you describe it. I mean, I don't like the description, but it does describe it, sort of flail arm variant. And so there's good and bad. The good is longevity. You will have many, many years of useful life. But the bad side is they get to a point where they need quite a lot of help. And that's a big frustrating thing. And so there's only a number of things that can help that situation, which is pretty obvious, which we'll obviously talk about. It's just the timing of it.
Yeah.
So right, let me put your shoes on and then we'll go and start hardly gassing with the girls.
Other foot.
Oh God, you caught me out.
I cut that bit out.
It's nearly there, wasn't it? Isn't it? Yeah.
I can put them on if you want.
Oh yeah, if it's easier to just slide you around.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
There we go. Right.
That's why I've got slip-ons now. So
Yeah, well, I mean that's the practical thing, isn't it? Velcro belts and like so. I've now got this belt.
And I've noticed Primark's now just launched adaptive clothing.
Yeah.
So
Long time coming.
Yeah, because it always used to be. I think Tommy Hilfiger did some, but they were just ridiculous money.
They would be, yeah.
And now Primark do it. You can get like a magnetic, like a zip-up hoodie, but with their magnets, so you don't need to use a zip.
Yeah. So you better be careful going for a scanner.
I know.
Imagine that. No, I can't get out of it. Right.
Okay, I'm back. Appointment done. There's always a mix of emotions going to see my neurologist. I don't know why I feel nervous sometimes seeing him. Maybe it's because it cements the fact that I've still got MND and I'm sort of scared to hear what he's going to find in the time that I saw him last to now. I suppose the appointment has some good news and some bad news, and I'll get the bad news out of the way first. He kindly allowed me to film the examination, and it was a thorough one at that. But what it highlighted was that I have progressed since I last saw him, especially in my arms and my hands. And he did note that I had weakness in my neck. So yeah, it's very frustrating. The good news, however, is that when he tested my legs, he didn't feel that there was any progression in that area, even though I'm showing signs of what they call fasciculations, specifically in my thighs. he tested my legs and didn't note any weakness there, which was really nice to know. So it's primarily affecting my sort of top half of my body, so sort of from my neck to my hands. And yeah, it's just unfortunate that since the last time I saw him, I have progressed slightly, which I knew that was going to be the case. And I suppose that is why I'm always, or sometimes, nervous seeing him, because I know what my body's going through and what has changed since the last time I saw him. And it's just cementing the fact that I have progressed with this condition, which it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but we try and take the positive out of it. Yay that my legs haven't been affected yet. He allowed me to ask him any questions after the examination, and I had a room full of other people. So there was my neurologist, there was a doctor that was sitting in. I assume she wanted to get into neurology maybe, and she was watching the examination as well. I've got my OT that was there. There was another OT there that helps with adaptions, things like that. And there was another doctor. One of the questions I always ask everyone is, when are you going to find a treatment or a drug that's going to help? And I get the same answer each time. There isn't anything, which it's hard to hear. But the good news is, I did ask him, are there any trials that I can participate in? And he said, yeah, you've still got the SMART trial, which we have down here in Dorset. And it's a trial that I did participate in a couple of years ago when there were 3 drugs and a placebo on this trial. I unfortunately was taken off the trial after only about 3 to 6 months, I think, because 2 of the 3 drugs were taken off this trial, and one of the 2 drugs I was on, which left only 1 drug and a placebo on this trial. So I wanted to wait until they added more drugs to give me more of a chance to get onto a drug. And he excitingly told me that there is another drug that he feels very positive about that's being added to the SMART trial sometime this year. So that's quite exciting, and I've asked him to sort of put my name down to be contacted to sign myself back up onto a SMART trial, so I'll keep you updated on that. I was meant to have a breathing test on the appointment, but the person or the physiotherapist that does the breathing test wasn't there, so they're going to rebook me on to do that. I believe they're going to come round to my house and do the breathing test, so I can hopefully film that for you and let you know what a breathing test looks like. That was it. It was neither a positive or a negative appointment, but I will take the positive in anything. It was good to catch up with everyone. We did discuss next steps if and when my condition progresses further, and they did bring up the fact that we need to get our heads around the potential use of a carer, which is hard to digest, but we're at that stage where I don't need one, but because it takes so long to potentially organise a carer, not only to help me, but to help my wife, because my wife is a mother to our 3 children, and there's only so much she's going to be able to do on top of that to help me do things like have a shower, get dressed, feed myself, things like that. And although I'm very independent and I will still try and do everything myself, there will become a point where I need help, and there's only so much my wife can do. So it was hard to sort of understand why we're talking about carers in my situation currently, but I always think to myself I'm a couple of steps ahead in this journey with MND. But when you speak to the likes of an OT or a neurologist, they always surprise me, and they're like 10 steps ahead of where I am. So they're just thinking that much further ahead, which I suppose is a good thing. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to put them down in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.
Mind over matter, mind over MND. We do this together. Join hands with me. I wish that we never met. Paths get crossed and you're on to the next. You make it so hard to forget. You take so much, not an ounce of regret.